Energy Center here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Welcome to the Republican YouTube debate. All right, enough of the singing, enough of the snowmen. Let's begin the debate.
The reality is that New York City was not a sanctuary city.
Governor Romney, was New York a sanctuary city?
Absolutely. Called itself a sanctuary city.
Mitt generally criticizes people in a situation in which he's had far the worst record. For example, in his case, there were 6 sanctuary cities. He did nothing about them. There was even a sanctuary mansion. At his own home, illegal immigrants were being employed.
Mayor, you know better than that.
No,
okay, then listen. All right, then listen.
You did.
First of all,
you did have illegal immigrants working at your mansion, didn't you?
No, I did not. If you hear someone that's working out there, not that you've employed, but that the company has, if you hear someone with a funny accent, you as a homeowner are supposed to go out there and say, I want to see your papers. Is that what you're suggesting?
No, what I'm suggesting is, if you are going to, if you're going to take,
you asked him a question, let him respond, and we got to move on.
If you're going to take this holier-than-thou attitude, that your whole approach to immigration was so
holier than thou, Mayor.
If you're going to take this holier-than-thou attitude, that you were perfect on immigration.
I'm not perfect.
It just so happens you have a special immigration problem that nobody else here has. You were employing illegal immigrants.
You know,
that is a pretty serious thing. They were under your nose.
I'm a little surprised the mayor says, you know, everybody's responsible for everybody that they hire. I think we've all had people, probably, that we have hired that, in retrospect, probably is a bad decision.
Yeah. Senator McCain, have Republicans forgotten how to control spending?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We came to power in 1994 to change government, and government changed us. We let spending lurch completely out of control.
The statement earlier made that we all went to Washington to change Washington, and Washington changed us. I don't think that applies to me. Washington did not change me. I would like to change Washington. Our foreign policy is costing us $1 trillion, and we can spend most of that or a lot of that money home if we would bring our troops home.
That kind of isolationism, sir, is what caused World War II. We allowed
Allow him his answer, please.
We allowed Hitler to come to power with that kind of attitude of isolationism and appeasement.
Okay.
And I want to tell you something, sir. I just finished having Thanksgiving with the troops, and their message to you is, the message of these brave men and women who are serving over there is, let us win.
I don't want to send our troops overseas using force to tell them how to live. We would object to it here, and they're going to object to us over there.
All right, I would be remiss if I didn't ask this question, since it did just break a couple hours ago. This is to Mayor Giuliani. Politico broke a story a few hours ago questioning your accounting of taxpayer dollars as mayor. They say that as mayor, the report says you took trips to the Hamptons and expensed the cost of your police detail to obscure city offices. One, is that true? And if so, was it appropriate?
First of all, it's not true. I had 24-hour security for the 8 years that I was mayor. They followed me every place I went. It was because there were, threats that I don't generally talk about. Some have become public recently. Most of them haven't. And they took care of me, and they put in their records, and they handled them in the way they handled them. I had nothing to do with the handling of their records. And they were handled, as far as I know, perfectly appropriately.
Great. We go to another campaign-style video, this one from Senator Fred Thompson.
I believe that abortion should be safe and legal in this country. I believe that since Roe v. Wade has been the law for 20 years, that we should sustain and support it.
Senator Thompson, what's up with that?
Just want to give my buddies here a little extra airtime.
I don't know how many times I could tell it. I was wrong. All right? If people in this country are looking for someone who's never made a mistake on a policy issue and is not willing to admit they're ever wrong, why, then they're going to have to find somebody else. Because on abortion, I was wrong. And I changed my mind.
Considering the Constitution grants us the right to bear arms as a means of protection, why do you believe that citizens should be required to pass an exam in order to exercise their right to protect themselves and their families?
What I believe is the Second Amendment gives people an individual right to keep and to bear arms. Government can impose reasonable regulations. Generally, those reasonable regulations would be about...
Let him answer, Con.
Let me finish. Generally, those reasonable regulations would be about criminal background, a background of mental instability.
If Roe v. Wade was overturned, Congress passed a federal ban on all abortions, and it came to your desk, would you sign it, yes or no?
I probably would not sign it. I would leave it to the states to make that decision. I don't believe, in the circumstance that you asked before, that it should be criminalized. I think that would be a mistake, unless we're talking about partial birth abortion or late-term abortion.
How you answer this question will tell us everything we need to know about you. Do you believe every word of this book? And I mean specifically this book that I'm holding in my hand. Do you believe this book?
Governor Romney.
I believe the Bible is the Word of God, absolutely. And I try to live by it as well as I can, but I miss in a lot of ways. But it's a guide for my life and for hundreds of millions, billions of people around the world. I believe in the Bible.
Does that mean you believe every word?
You know, yeah, I believe it's the Word of God. The Bible is the Word of God. I mean, I might interpret the word differently than you interpret the word, but I read the Bible, and I believe the Bible is the Word of God. I don't disagree with the Bible. I try and live by it.
Governor Huckabee?
Sure, I believe the Bible is exactly what it is. It's the word of revelation to us from God Himself. And the fact is that when people ask, do we believe all of it, you either believe it or you don't believe it. But in the greater sense, I think what the question tried to make us feel like was that, well, if you believe the part that says, go and pluck out your eye. Well, none of us believe that we ought to go pluck out our eye. That obviously is allegorical. But the Bible has some messages that nobody really can confuse and really not left up to interpretation. Love your neighbor as yourself. Inasmuch as you've done it to the least of these brethren, you've done it unto me. Until we get those simple, real easy things right, I'm not sure we ought to spend a whole lot of time fighting over the other parts that are a little bit complicated. And as the only person here probably on this stage with a theology degree, there are parts of it I don't fully comprehend and understand, but I'm not supposed to, because the Bible is a revelation of an infinite God, and no finite person is ever going to fully understand Him. If they do, their God is too small.
What would you do as president to repair the image of America in the eyes of the Muslim world?
Mayor Giuliani, 90 seconds.
Well, the most important thing to do is to make certain we remain on offense against Islamic terrorism. And then make it clear that what that means is this is a small group of people, Islamic terrorists, who have defiled a great religion. The night of September 11, 2001, when we were beginning to recover, or not really recover, but maybe just first catch our breath after the attack of September 11, you'll see one of the first things I said was, I said to the people of my city, and then probably to the people of America, that we should not engage in group blame.
Rudy Giuliani is using September 11th, 2001 to propel himself into the White House.
I would like people to look at my whole record. Long before September 11, 2001, I was the third-ranking official in the Reagan Justice Department. During that period of time, I actually did something about illegal immigration. I played a large part in stopping the Haitian illegal immigration into South Florida. I negotiated the agreement with the Haitian government. This is all before September 11, 2001, before September 11, 2001. And the reason that I believe I'm qualified to be President of the United States is not because of September 11, 2001.
But I do not believe that as a presidential candidate, it is wise for us to describe precisely what techniques we will use in interrogating people. I oppose torture. I would not be in favor of torture in any way, shape, or form.
Is waterboarding torture?
And as I just said, as a presidential candidate, I don't think it's wise for us to describe specifically which measures we would and would not use.
Well, Governor, I'm astonished that you haven't found out what waterboarding is.
I know what waterboarding is, Senator.
Then I am astonished that you would think such a torture would be inflicted on anyone in our who we are held captive, and anyone could believe that that's not torture. How in the world anybody could think that that kind of thing could be inflicted by Americans on people who are held in our custody is absolutely beyond me.
I'm not going to specify the specific means of what is and what is not torture, so that the people that we capture will know what things we're able to do and what things we're not able to do. And I get that advice from Cofer Black, who is a person who was responsible for counterterrorism in the CIA for some 35 years.
I would hope that we would understand, my friends, that life is not 24 and Jack Bauer. Life is interrogation techniques which are humane and yet effective.
By staying in Iraq, we provide long-term stability to the region. We provide support for our allies, and we act as a deterrent to the troublemakers in the region. Which presidential candidate will make a permanent or long-term military commitment to the people of Iraq?
We shouldn't be in there longer than necessary, and we don't know how long that will be. But we should be there absolutely as long as it takes to complete our mission there.
The best commitment we can make to the Iraqi people is to give them their country back. That's the most important thing that we can do.
I want to thank you all for participating tonight. I want to thank all those viewers who submitted the questions, 5,000 questions. I want to thank everyone in the audience, the Republican Party of Florida, for hosting us. Thank you very much.